from around the sports world. We'll ask the questions that we're all wondering and push for the answers we all want. Sports Illustrated Weekly is available every Wednesday on the iHeart-Radio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Concesionario de interior con más de 100 vehículos para elegir, ya sea una SUV, una camioneta o un sedán de su elección, con solo $999 como pago inicial y 90 días para tu primer pago. Tu comprobante de ingresos es tu crédito, con más de 100 prestamistas que pueden ayudarte a encontrar la mejor oferta para ayudar a tu presupuesto. Y adivina qué, todos están aprobados. Estamos ubicados en el 2545 Albatros Way en Sacramento, California. Llámanos en español al 916-649-1341. MGI Motors. No lo sueñe, condúzcalo. Con crédito aprobado, financiamiento sin crédito y matrícula está bien. 916-649-1341. No lo olvides, $999 de down y tienes 90 días para tu primer pago. Tu comprobante de ingresos es tu crédito. Llama ahora al 916-649-1341. MGI Motors. 2545 Camino Albatros en Sacramento.
Then fill up with premium at Circle K. Circle K Premium is our best fuel with double the cleaning detergent, protecting your engine from corrosion and damage so it can work at its best. And that, my friend, increases your mileage for more cha-ching in your pocket. Plus, when you fill up with premium at Circle K, you can save up to 20 cents per gallon. Offer valid Thursdays or Fridays at participating stores. For details, visit CircleK.com. Circle K. How convenient.
At McDonald's. But luckily for you...
Oh, is that McDonald's?
There's always someone around.
And you got extras?
To help take it off your plate.
Yeah, I like some.
There's a deal for every helping hand at McDonald's. Like our 20-piece Chicken McNuggets for just $5. Or get 40-piece Chicken McNuggets for the whole family. And pair it with an any-size Dr. Pepper for just $1. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
Today's topic, Valentine's Day savings. You know, there's nothing I love more than a good deal. You mean like 60% off jewelry, 25% off pajamas, and 25% off Hula throws and pillows? I just may have to treat myself this year. Did I mention you can get an extra 15, 20, or even 30% off with a Kohl's card and earn Kohl's cash? Okay, now that I'll take over candy and flowers any day. Select styles, 15% offer ends February 14th. Hula by Ed. Coupons do not apply. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
This President's Day, your NorCal Honda dealers are celebrating something we can all agree on. Cool cars, great gas mileage, and the pursuit of happiness. Honda's fuel efficiency, reliability, and style are legendary. Honda has the happiest drivers in America and is the most fun to drive, period. And with thousands of new Hondas on the way and happy customers taking delivery daily, it's Honda by a landslide. And if there is a landslide, you'll thank your sweet donkey elephant that you drive a Honda. Just ask anyone who owns one. See your NorCal Honda dealer now through President's Day for very happy savings on Civic, Accord, CR-V, HR-V, Pilot, and more. Come in and buy or reserve yours today.
Happiest drivers based on the 2021 American Customer Satisfaction Index survey of customers rating the performance of their own automobiles.
For more information, ask anyone who owns a Honda or visit NorCalHondaDealers.com. This message is approved by millions of happy Honda owners.
Love is in the air, and we're here to help you celebrate with an incredible selection of gifts and tasty treats for your Valentine. Nothing says romance better than Debbie Lilly designed roses. Let our florists create the perfect bouquet for only $21.99 a dozen. Pick up or delivery. Treat your Valentine to Surf and Turf. USDA Choice beef bone-in New York strip steaks are $5.88 per pound, and 3-ounce wild-caught lobster tails are $5.88 each. Limit 4 items. This is Stephanie from Safeway, and we'll see you soon.
As your loved one in the military stands strong for our country, Paid Family Leave can now provide military families with up to 8 weeks partial wage replacement to help arrange for childcare while your loved one is deployed, to be there to dry tears, to be there to provide reassurances, and to be there for the moments that truly matter. This is your moment. Take it. To learn more, visit CaliforniaPaidFamilyLeave.com. Moments matter.
No matter the weather or supply chain hiccup, but we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Because Walgreens now accepts all Medi-Cal members with prescription services built for your schedule, like 90-day refills and pharmacy chat. Walgreens makes keeping up with your medications simple. So tell your neighbors, the delivery driver, even that miniature bulldog next to you on the 405. So cute. Walgreens is accepting all Medi-Cal members. Transfer your prescriptions today.
Talk to a pharmacist to see if your prescriptions qualify for 90-day refills. On car insurance. Call 21st Century at 888-GET-2121 to get the car insurance coverage you need at the rates you can afford. It's time to get 21st Century savings for your 21st century life. Call 888-GET-2121 or go to 21st.com to start saving today.
$100,000 holes, and now there's not just emotional and psychological consequences, there's physical and financial ones too. So now it's having real life consequences that now we can actually start looking into clinical areas of depression, of anxiety, of bereavement, of all kinds of other problematic mental health issues. The financial piece exponentially makes this problem worse.
Okay, so then what's the solution here? After someone has concluded that they are indeed experiencing sports fan depression, how does that person regain some balance in their perspective? But what do they do with their consumption of sports?
I would say taking a step away from it and going to do literally anything else. Taking some time to find something else that you enjoy, whether that's music or television show, movie, some other type of pop culture, or just kind of unplugging from the football or sport experience to give yourself a little bit of emotional distance where you can kind of clear your head.
Music to our ears. Just like the words of Deidre and Dave, real customers who decided to give Good Feet Arch Supports a try with a free fitting and test walk.
The pain would shoot up my heels. I would tiptoe out of bed because my heels hurt so badly.
The pain level was over 10, and my doctor recommended that I go to Good Feet and try the arch supports.
When I went to the Good Feet store, I had a free consultation. They allowed me to try on the arch supports.
And took about 3-4 steps, turned around and went and sat back down and started to cry. It was the first time that I had no pain.
See how our trusted specialists and personally fit arch supports can help with foot, knee, hip, and back pain. Stop by the Good Feet store for a free fitting and test walk today. Your good life starts with Good Feet.
Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, and Stockton's Lincoln Center.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org.
Spilled your milkshake? Quick, the quicker picker upper. Bounty picks up spills quicker. And each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading Ordinary brand. So you can get back to your milkshake.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and their life is better than yours.
Bounty, the quicker picker upper.
Why? So you can bring your favorite radio station, just like this one, and thousands of others with you everywhere you go, right on your phone, along with tons of specialty curated playlists to fit any mood or any activity, from chilling out to working out. And podcasts, literally hundreds of thousands of them. True crime thrillers, the latest headline news, sports. You'll find plenty of podcasts that are perfect for you. Start listening free now when you download the iHeart-Radio app. Discover music, radio, and podcasts you'll love.
The wind in my ears.
Good dog.
Fridge in my mouth. And peace of mind, knowing we went to Les Schwab for our tires, brakes, and alignment. If we had gone to one of those cheap tire stores that don't offer those services, I'd be a doggone wreck. Like Les Schwab, my family's safety is my first priority. Well, that and treats, obviously.
Swing by or book online. Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing since 1952.
Yes!
Just you and your hunger. And if you listen carefully, you can hear what it's craving. Bacon. Extra bacon. 4 strips of crispy bacon stacked on a charbroiled beef patty with melty cheese. Satisfy your bacon craving with the Bacon Beast Burger or the Bacon Beast Burrito with melty cheese for breakfast. Try the new Bacon Beast menu from Carl's Jr. Feed your happy. Available for limited time at participating Carl's Jr. restaurants. Bacon Beast Burrito available during regular breakfast hours. Price restriction may vary.
Let's get ready to rumble! Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with the Big C Sports. This is Charlton on Big C Sports. Coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe. For the people who watch Super Bowl 56. I want to say what a great day. It's also, I think it's called Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day. Today's show is a beautiful show brought to you by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. You can buy and test drive yours. Tell them Charlton or Big C Sports Section, as well as a fleet of Cadillac cars. Everybody gets a car, like Oprah says. Everybody gets a car on Valentine's Day. Wouldn't that be amazing? Everyone gets an Escalade. Today's show, you can follow Big C Sports all over the world on 23 podcast applications. My goodness, that's a lot of Escalades to give out. Anyway, you can find us on Google, Alexa, Spotify, Speaker, Apple Podcasts, iHeart-Radio-Podcast, Castbox Podcast, Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, and also number 10, Pod Chaser. I gotta catch my breath. Give me some praise for counting to 10. If you think it's easy, you try it sometimes. Come on, y'all. Give me some praise. Learning to count to 10. You can also follow us on Geo Savan Podcast out of London, England. Podtail Podcast, YouTube Podcast, Hubhopper Podcast, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, Repod Podcast, Luminary Podcast. You can follow Big C Sports on Listen Notes. You can find Big C Sports on Podcast Wise, Podbay, Verbal Podcast, and then allfeeds.ai. Give some praise. Come on, y'all, give some praise. Gotta give Big C Sports Podcast some praise. You can also find Big C Sports Podcast all over the world. You can find us on streaming on TV, Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over the universe. Happy Valentine's Day! Everybody gets a Valentine. You get a Valentine. You get a Valentine. You get a Valentine. Happy Valentine's to everyone that plays for the Los Angeles Rams. Super Bowl 56 champions. All of here in love and war. Really do appreciate that. I love paying homage to my family legacy, and my great-grandmother on my mother's side called her a mamo. Just a wonderful great-grandmother. Made sure everyone had food in the belly and lots of love. Really do appreciate that. And then my grandfather, my great-grandfather, the patriarch of the family, called him Pop, former Negro League baseball player and a good-time churchgoer, and known by his church friends after church for making the best moonshine in the universe. And boys, get out of that barn. Why I gotta tell you again? Really do appreciate that. And then my beautiful grandmother, Mud Diaz, she was a wonderful person to see her. Very smart businesswoman. Did everything to keep the family strong. Really do appreciate everything she taught me, even to this day. And then my grandfather, Hezekiah, just another wonderful gentleman, always doing what he could to keep the family strong. My beautiful mother started a Head Start program, a food program, and also helped win the Little League Championship of the universe. Give Mama some praise. Come on, y'all, a Head Start program, a food program, and to win the Little League Championship of the universe. Very smart, intelligent. Really appreciate Mama always saying, right at the side of my father's side of the family, the patriarch of the family, Albert Curry, another intelligent man, a businessman, and also a pastor. Had 2 churches in Oakland, California, built a 3rd one in Central California, also owned 2 service stations in Oakland, California, always working hard, making sure that money was flowing in like air. And then my beautiful grandmother, Alberta Curry, the matriarch of the family on my father's side, working hand in hand with my grandfather, Albert Curry, to build the churches in Oakland and also Central California, and ran the 2 service stations out of Oakland, California. Really do appreciate how hard she worked to keep the family strong. And my father, former Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, making sure that planes could fly high so we could all stay safe at night. Always saying develop your mind to the highest extent. And my beautiful brother Todd, with his bombastic voice, sound like thunder and lightning when Todd would speak. Again, our favorite movie was Pulp Fiction. The part that Vin Rames, which is the LA Rams, said to the Cincinnati Bengals, your butt goes down in the 4th round. That stinking sensation you're feeling, that's pride messing with you. Bibbity blip pride. I appreciate that. Must have seen that movie 50 times. And my beautiful daughter, Daisy, happy Valentine's Day. And the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe oftentimes helped me set up for events when coaches came to the West Coast to set up with Big C Sports. College graduate, double major, 3.5 years with honors. Really do appreciate Daisy. Very smart woman, hardworking. And my beautiful son, Malcolm, the most handsome man in the history of the universe. Really do appreciate Malcolm, a college student. Very smart, industrious, hardworking. Oftentimes sends me stats on NBA, knows NBA stats inside and out. Really do appreciate all of his hard work. And then Big C, with all of his wealth of knowledge in the past, you gotta believe, you gotta believe, you gotta believe. Give everybody praise. Come on, y'all say, give me some praise, praise, praise. Even the pastor called and said he wasn't feeling well for Super Bowl Sunday. Anyway, I'm not going to tell that one, but sometimes I'm sure that remote control was working. Is all fair in Leavenworth, but I really do appreciate everything that goes on with Big C Sports. And then I oftentimes, I thought The Rock would have done a different introduction, but it was fine. But they talked about winning championships. The Rock went to Hollywood for the introduction of Super Bowl 56, and he looked like he's still been working out. As all fair in Leavenworth. And at least The Rock didn't steal what my great-grandfather started when I was a little boy back in the day after they came home from church out in the barn. I would hear, let's get ready to rumble. Let's say welcome to the show as we dominate Big C Sports Podcast. And I always say this, and sometimes it's apparent, no scripts, no three-way teleprompters, no producer in my ear. I do the show with my higher self. I always honor God. I always produce the show. I direct the topics. I broadcast the shows. The sound effects are done by what's provided by the agency. Really do appreciate that. We could all use more laughter in our lives. And then the commercials are done, the stats providing, the storytelling. And I must be prescient because I said this last week on the show. And maybe it didn't happen exactly as I said it, but I said it. Telling me, you can always go back and Google it. I said 4 wideouts, 5-man front by the Bengals. Stafford up to the line of scrimmage. The snap, Stafford rolling right, throws downfield, it is caught in the end zone for the touchdown! Touchdown! Rams! Cooper Kupp! I said 50 yards, but it was less than that, but he still got it done, and I still predicted it on Big C Sports Podcast. And then I also said Stafford up to the line of scrimmage. We have 4 wideouts, 5-man front by the Bengals. Snap, goes downfield, it is caught for the touchdown! Touchdown! Rams! Oh, now Beckham! 50 yards! It wasn't 50 yards, but he did catch the first touchdown, and I called that also. I'm not making this stuff up. I said it last week. It's off there in Leavenworth. And then I upload the show. It goes out to 23 multiple podcast platforms and 4 TV platforms. I never missed a show since starting Big C Sports on September 12, 2015. Really do appreciate that. I always honor the show by honoring God. Really do love that. One of my favorite verses growing up I heard as a young boy was in Genesis 13:15. It says, for all the land that thou seest will I give you, and thy seed forever. And the book of James, chapter 4, verse 2, said, you have not because you ask not. If you want something, just ask and give the good book some praise. Come on, y'all, give the book give it some praise, praise, praise. Not just if you want something. Give God some praise. All fair and love and war. I'm telling you, there's something about that stadium at SoFi Stadium. I understand now what Jerry Jones said to Mr. Cronkey. He says, why does your stadium have to be so big? It's a beautiful gym. It's Hollywood is what it is. It's a beautiful stadium, really beautiful. Love the way they built it. That's what you get for $5 billion. Also want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight Inspect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe, just like in Genesis 1:3. God said, let there be light. Open your cell phone to say play Big C Sports Podcast, and I really do appreciate that. You'll see our apps pop up all over the world, all over the world, all over the globe. Really do appreciate that. Also, if you look at want to thank all the sports agents that I've known over the years, and looking at Forbes, you look at the Forbes sports agents, you can go back over the last 10 years, really. 2021, in contracts, over $41.2 billion in contracts created. You see some of the athletes last night at SoFi Stadium at Super Bowl 56 and sports marketing agency. I'm venturing into that also, getting my certification for a sports marketing agency for 2022, working with NFL, NBA, and Major League Baseball athletes, as well as some of the top college athletes in the country as well. Really do appreciate that. I'm telling you, if you're a sports athlete, you're looking for opportunities to get in contact, agents will find you. Oftentimes, they only find the very top marquee people, but Big C Sports will also be venturing into that too, as well in 2022. And I'm telling you, you didn't hear much about African-American coaches, the lack of African-American coaches, but the world's most powerful sports agents, they make so much money in representing athletes. We see their product last night, and some of them netting commissions of over almost $2 billion in commissions, as well as athletes that go through the stratosphere. The salaries are going to go higher. We know that it's part of the industry. The salaries are not getting smaller. They are getting higher. That's part of why Big C Sports is also venturing into that. So next time when you hear me say, touchdown, home run, three-point play, oh man, Willie, he's going all the way. Hopefully that will be with the contract signing. I do believe there's a lot of opportunities in that business. It's also there. It's there for people of color. We'll see what happens to whoever buys the Denver Broncos, if that's going to be opened up for more of an equal opportunity. So I really do appreciate that. A lot of things happen in Los Angeles, and that's part of it. More and more men of color are seeing the light and getting into that business. I also want to just mention, I want to say thank you to the California Lottery, the Super Lotto, Powerball, Mega Millions, all those millions in Fantasy 5, etc., and really do appreciate them. But for those of you who bet more than you can chew, there's a PSA that's put on by former 49ers coach Steve Mariucci, now I believe working with the NFL Network. And for those of you who have some gambling issues, sometimes you don't know. You just need someone to tell you no more. Now, if you have anyone going through issues, pick up the phone and call 800-GAMBLER. That's 800-GAMBLER, GAMBLER, and you can definitely get some help. There's a lot of people, I think they had 54% of the country bet on the Bengals to win the Super Bowl. And I know it's the year of the Tiger, but it's just part of life. Sports betting, there's no guarantee of anything. But I want to make sure I get it out for people who are having issues. Also, I love doing this PSA on every show. It is for the Veterans Crisis Hotline. They really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. If you know anybody going through issues, you don't have to be a veteran, but they really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. And rumor has it they will stand on their head to get you some help. 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255, or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net, and give our first responders some praise. Give them all some praise. They need it. The Veterans Crisis Hotline. When somebody needs help, they're always there to help. Really do appreciate that. I also want to say thank you to Budweiser Zero. It has 0% alcohol, 100% on your game. Sports fans, when you're watching the big game, like Super Bowl 55, I hope you enjoyed the Big C Burger. It's a tasty burger, and it came with all that exotic meat, and a ram and a Bengal tiger exotic meat. That's why it tastes so good. It also, I want to say, it comes with that Big C coffee. Why does the cup have to be so big? It comes in one size, extra large. You have the Big C burger. You want to have the Big C coffee. It's only one size, extra large. Not quite as large as SoFi Stadium in beautiful Southern California. Really do appreciate the Super Bowl from last night. But you know, also, for the halftime, it went off with a lot of great reviews from people. And I mean, I love the genre that it went back to. California love. Really do appreciate. In fact, I'm going to do my version of it. Come on, give me some California love. Some California love. You can give me some praise for that too. I thought that was good. Dr. J and Snoop Dogg doing their thing. I thought it would have seen a hologram of Snoop Dogg. I was hearing, not Snoop Dogg, but man, why am I drawing a blank on Tupac? Spit it out. I thought I would have seen a hologram on Tupac. Maybe that was him standing on top of the stadium. You know, Hollywood can do anything as they went to a commercial break. But I thought it was good. And, of course, Eminem came out, and 50 Cent looked like he put on a little bit of... He'd been eating a lot of Big C burgers, 50 Cent. He used to be ripped. Now he looked like he'd been eating a lot of Big C burgers. It's all fair in love and war. And then Mary J. Blige did her thing. just talking to different people, I thought they paid homage to South Central Los Angeles and Compton and Inglewood and Long Beach and how they sang about it in their songs, and just saying how they paid homage to that genre of music. And it goes back over 2 decades now. And, it's interesting how a lot of people still standing strong, especially Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre, etc. So that was wonderful. And then there's also thoughts for the African American community, Black History Month. There's times when our whole culture has so much rich tradition. And some people say, hey, wear more clothes, and do we really need to see women with their backside hanging out for the Super Bowl? Well, look at the cheerleaders. People do that for cheerleaders too. When you think about it, sometimes it's just part of culture. Get off my lawn! Some people say get off my lawn. But hey, it was all good. I thought it was a great show. And it doesn't please everybody. Not everybody's going to wear a suit and tie. But at the same time, when I think about the history that they created, the halftime show did a good job. And how they pulled it off such a large stage on the field. And I thought it was put together very well, so I'm going to give them some praise also. Give them some praise. All fair in love and war. Now, I want to get into a little bit of what happened in Super Bowl 55. That happened last year. Last year we had, I believe, the first time that a home team hosted a Super Bowl. That was Tampa Bay, and they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. That was Super Bowl 55. I don't think that ever been done before where a team played the Super Bowl in their home stadium. Now, if I look at it another way, Super Bowl 56, the Los Angeles Rams were able to host the Super Bowl in their home stadium. So, and they got a win last night over the Cincinnati Bengals, 23-20. What a great game it was. So next year, the Super Bowl 57 is supposed to be in Arizona, down in Phoenix. Will the Cardinals get there? I doubt if the Cardinals get there. They're not getting along in there for whatever reason, quarterback and ownership, etc. But I also want to say, have you, especially for Valentine's Day, if you've ever needed a good night's sleep, the mattress, the type of mattress you sleep on, supposedly makes all the difference in the kind of sleep that you have. Even if you lost $9.5 million in betting. The mattress man lost $9.5 million in a Super Bowl loss. So my question is, some people say we're going to give you the best mattress at the best prices available. So if that's the case, where did you get the extra $9 million? I thought I was getting a good deal. Everybody's in business to make a profit. But it's the mattress man, I'm just going to call him mattress man, lost $9.5 million betting on the Cincinnati Bengals. So prices may rise up a little bit in mattress stores. For those of you that say, why the mattress prices go up over the weekend? Well, you got to get that money back. So be careful when you go through. Get the right kind of mattress. But that's a big bet, to bet $9.5 million on the Cincinnati Bengals to win Super Bowl 56, the year of the Tiger. And it happened, but the guy lost a lot of money. My goodness. When you think about it, he's an icon out of Houston. And I'm not going to give him a plug for a show unless he sends me that $9.5 million that I'm going to charge for a spot on Big C Sports Podcast like the Super Bowl does. But he lost a lot of money, and obviously, what a great game it was. But when you can put up $9.5 million from selling mattress, that's what a lot of my friends in the lending business call mattress money. $9.5 million in his mattress. I'm sure the IRS is going to want to know, do you have anything else stashed away in those mattresses? Where'd you get the money, sir? In my mattress. He's going to have a lot of people come over to his house, if that makes sense to you. But if the Las Vegas, they know what they're doing. The point spread was 4. And I'll get into the game in a little bit. The point spread had the Rams favored by 4. And they ended up winning by 3. Obviously, there was a missed extra point by the Rams. That was a bizarre missed extra point. The guy just let the ball roll. It dropped. But maybe he was nervous, if you believe that. But what a game. 23-20. I thought Los Angeles did a great job in putting on all the theatrics and the theater. They used Disneyland theme park. So that's down in Anaheim, but they used a lot of Los Angeles, the landscaping. I thought NBC Sports did a fabulous job showcasing the landscape of Los Angeles, whether it's from Disneyland or whether it was the beautiful Pacific Ocean. There's just so much to talk about when you think about that game. You think about $9.5 million losing on a bet. That's a lot. That's a huge amount of money. And when you think about it, the same man lost $2 million on New England to win the Super Bowl at 20-1 odds, lost $700,000 on the Titans to win the Super Bowl, and lost $6.1 million on Alabama to win the college football national championship. But that's a lot of money. He's out of pocket, or I won't say out of pocket. That's a lot of money out of his mattress. that hoping he'll have a good night's sleep on it on Valentine's Day. Maybe he has enough money stuffed in that mattress to get a whole new mattress. It's going to take what's called the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. When I come back, I'm going to talk about the Super Bowl in the words of former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll be back. All right, we're back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 23 podcast applications all over the universe, and streaming on 4 TV applications, all strand level. Well, what a great show, from the introduction of The Rock doing his thing at Super Bowl 56 to everything that you expect in a big game, especially when it's in Los Angeles. Just the way, even the colors, you have the black and orange from Cincinnati, and you had the blue and gold from the Los Angeles Rams. And I thought it was just an amazing environment. It felt like there were more people cheering for the Bengals, but that's the case in Los Angeles at times. But it's from movie stars galore to the power players in Los Angeles. The game was the Rams 23 and the Bengals 20. I actually missed the over-under. I said it would be 50. The Las Vegas had the over-under at 48.5. It was actually just a total of 43 points scored in that game. And when you think about it, I thought it was amazing. The stats leaders in that game, you have passing yards leader Matthew Stafford for 283 yards. Touchdown Joe Burrow was just 20 yards shy at 263 yards passing. And Stafford got 3 touchdown passes. I said in the preview he would have at least 2. He got 3. Touchdown Joe Burrow got 1 touchdown pass in his game. And then rushing yards, they didn't really have a lot of running yards. Akers ran for 21 yards, and Mixon had 72 yards for the Bengals. Receiving the MVP of the game was Cooper Kupp. I thought it would have been Aaron Donald. Kupp had 92 receiving yards, and then T. Higgins for Cincinnati had 100. Aaron Donald had 2 sacks. Actually, he had 3. They took the third one away, and I think they did that just to keep from giving him the MVP for whatever reason. And then for sacks, Reeder had 1 for the Bengals. Now, when I look at this game, I thought Jalen Ramsey had such a good game because I think Chase didn't show up the way we thought he would. He had that one big catch where Ramsey fell down, but for the most part, they kept him in check. And it was T. Higgins who was doing his thing with 100 yards receiving. And the reason I said that Darnold was my MVP of the game, Darnold had the third down stop on a 3rd and 1. And he also had a sack when the Bengals went for it. On 4th down, he sacked touchdown Joe Burrow, and they called it a sack, and then they took it away. We all saw it was a sack, and they took that away. The total yards in the Rams, 313. Cincinnati, total yards, 305. Rushing yards are very minimal. They needed Eric Dickerson back in the lineup for the Rams. I don't even think Eric Dickerson went to the game. They put him in the nosebleeds. I had a better view than Eric Dickerson, and he's a Hall of Famer. But be that as it may, they had 43 yards rushing, and the Bengals had 79 yards rushing. Passing yards, 270 to 226. But either way, I thought the game was very well played. It went down to the wire, unlike last year's Super Bowl, and Super Bowl 55 did not go down to the wire at all when Tampa Bay had a blowout 31-9 win over the Kansas City Chiefs. But this was just amazing. It was an amazing game because of the environment of what we saw. The environment made it so great. That's what I love. If you go through the playoffs, Cincinnati got here by beating the Raiders 26-19. They went to Tennessee and won 19-16. Then they went to Kansas City in the AFC Championship game and won 27-24. 24 over Kansas City, and they lost Super Bowl 56 against the Los Angeles Rams, the hometown Los Angeles Rams, even though Cincinnati were the home colors. And then you look at what the Los Angeles Rams did in their playoffs. They beat Arizona on Martin Luther King holiday. It was 34-11. And then they had the chance to go across the country to Tampa and beat the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers 30-27. And then they had a game of their lives, and they snapped a 6-game losing streak to the San Francisco 49ers, bang, bang, 9 a game. And they won that game 20-17, but they trailed going into the fourth quarter. They were down 17-7, and they got away. They got away from trying to run, and they started passing, and they had the chance to get that win. Even though Jacoby dropped an interception that would have put the Niners in. Be that as it may, they went on to Super Bowl 56 and got the 23-20 win. It's just an amazing game. I thought what the NFL did in that Super Bowl was what a lot of people like about the NFL. It was about entertainment. Whether people like all of the entertainment or not, I thought the halftime show was fine. Yeah, maybe they could have worn more clothes, but so could cheerleaders. But I thought that, really, just my opinion, it all turned out pretty well. And when you think about the game in itself, you know how the NFL went into this Hollywood finish of the home team winning the hometown, even though it was the year of the Tiger, and the Tiger got eaten by the Ram. In a real fight, we know a Tiger would maul a Ram, but those are different kind of Rams. But it had the Hollywood finish. The NFL saw Tom Brady step aside. It also saw the allegations against the Washington now the Washington Commanders. We saw that. And we saw all the talk of the Black Lives Matter movement and treating people fair. The NFL with their embarrassment, their record of not hiring minorities, even giving people interviews. But then it was outshined by the performance of Super Bowl 56. The blue and yellow confetti rained down on the field after the final bell went off in Super Bowl 56 on Sunday night in Inglewood, California. Right across from that dirt, the Forum, I may be wrong, but I think the Lakers won 5 championships at the Forum. They called it Showtime. But Showtime, it pales in comparison to SoFi Stadium. A 23-20 victory by the Los Angeles Rams, the NFL champion Los Angeles Rams, their first Super Bowl while they played in the city of Los Angeles. With the flyovers, that's amazing for Los Angeles. I think Los Angeles was on display because it's such a beautiful city. It's a city of champions. They call it the city of angels, but really the city of champions. And I think the commissioner, Roger Goodell, why does he keep sitting next to Russell Wilson in the games? He did that last year also. But everything went out pretty well. We talked so much about the NFL trying to clean up its closet, and the dirt comes out in the wash and all the stuff with the, just the junk with what's going on in the league with the inequality and the poor treatment of African Americans. But I guess you can't fix everything if you don't talk about it. I think about all the people. They're saying supposedly numbers came in about over 100 million fans watched it. The NFL's amazing. For everything that is not good about it, it's like anything else in life. You got to take the best of it and make the most of it that you can. It's a great sport. It's my favorite sport. And then NBA and then Major League Baseball come up behind that. But it's the favorite sport for so many people. 100 million people watch the game. And there's only 350 million in the United States. And then you have a mattress man lost 9.5 million and he's still selling mattress. He didn't have to go out of business. A $5 billion stadium. Stan Kroenke, that family has made money throughout the years. But what a great place. Even Jerry Jones said, why did the stadium have to be so big? But I just love what they did in Los Angeles. They blended all the Hollywood stars they could find. And that, to me, if you have a chance to have a Super Bowl in Los Angeles, that just shows you should. You should have more. And just because of what it has. You got to be stuck in traffic. That's part of the bad thing about LA, but that's always the case, LA. It's 24-hour traffic. If you want to go anywhere, you got to drive at nighttime. That's the best time to avoid traffic. But it was just a great scene, a great time out, and I'm happy to be a part of the NFL because I love it so much, and it's something that ever since I was a little boy, I've always wanted to be around the NFL in some form or fashion. and I think about how the Rams beat the Bengals to win Super Bowl 56, I thought it was defense, more defense, and more defense, and more defense. When you think about trading the quarterback touchdown Matthew Stafford in the offseason, they added a future Hall of Famer pass rusher, sackman Von Miller, receiver Odell Beckham, and then the Rams win now approach. Fire everything! I look at Von Miller, that good old boy got after Cam Newton, the NFL's MVP in Super Bowl 50 up in San Francisco. And then he did his thing also against touchdown Joe Burrow as they were trying to build him up to be the next Joe Montana or Broadway Joe, whatever they call him. They're trying to make it about the next Joe, the average Joe, whatever it was. I thought Odell Beckham was on his way to becoming the MVP. I mean, he was doing his thing. He can catch it over the middle and then turn up the sideline. Really hard to catch him the way he runs the ball. But the Rams, I think their defense, we talk about defense winning championships, and you look at how the Rams turned up the heat. And I even predicted that too. I said they had to turn up the heat and they have to get after it. And on the record, they're going to say they got to Burrow 7 times, but they really got to him. They got him 8 times, but they took that last sack away from Von Miller. I don't think that's fair, but they did it anyway. And I thought they did that so he wouldn't get the MVP. Just my opinion. People would say, why do they want him to get the MVP? Just politics, okay? Politics. But if you can look at me or look at anybody, any football player, all the guys that I've talked to over the years, Cooper Kupp didn't have his best game. I know he was vital in the game, but they had to go to him more when Odell Beckham Jr. went down, because Odell Beckham Jr. was going to be the MVP if he didn't have the knee injury, which to me really didn't look that bad. I know some people are saying it was I won't even say the type of injury it was, but it didn't look as bad. I mean, I've seen worse. But Odell was doing his thing. And then Cooper Kupp is a better receiver than people give him credit for. But what won that game to me was pressure and more pressure and more pressure outside of the throw to T. Higgins that went in for the touchdown right out of the halftime, where he grabbed Ramsey across the face mask and pulled him down to the ground, and that was not thrown. There was no foul called on that. There was no flag call. That should have been a flag call, and that means the touchdown would have come off the board. So we could go ifs and should have and would have and could have, but if you look at that game, the way they kept putting more and more pressure on touchdown Joe Burrow, that was Von Miller and also Aaron Donald doing this thing. That's what won the game for the Rams. That's just my opinion. But Cooper Kupp did his thing. But the thing about Cooper Kupp, he did not have his best game. Didn't even have 100 yards receiving. Higgins had 100 yards receiving. He was not the MVP. But Cooper got the 2 touchdowns, and they gave him the ball when they needed him to do it. And he picked up a crucial 4th and 1, and he ran it for, I think he got about 5 yards and a first down for the Rams. So he's a big-time player. Out of Eastern Washington, can you believe it? Why didn't the Washington Huskies recruit him? Or Washington State Cougars? But there's something about that Rams team that has a chance. I'm not going to say to repeat because it's hard to repeat. Look at Tampa. They didn't repeat. I think the last team to repeat as Super Bowl champion was the New England Patriots. But football's tough. There'll be some off-field acquisitions made that will change things. But I think the Los Angeles Rams, that late comeback, we should not have done comeback. Don't call it a comeback, the great LL Cool J. It was only a comeback because a offensive pass interference penalty was not called when T. Higgins pulled down the face mask of Jalen Ramsey, ran in. But it was big. I love seeing Ramsey he had the march up, and he said he wanted to match up also. And he was able to match up and really had a big statement in the game, in that game. I just love the way the game was played out. It was amazing. To me, it was amazing. It wasn't as high scoring as I thought it would be. I thought we would be looking at maybe a 31-28 game, but 23-20, could have gone either way. Both teams, I'm surprised they couldn't run the ball that well. I would have thought we would have seen better running of the football, even though the game was built on the quarterbacks, touchdown Matthew Stafford and touchdown Joe Burrow. And so we got the chance to see 2 good passing attacks. But at the same time, if you're Joe Burrow, and I know the NFL wants to build him as the next great Joe, whether it's Joe Montana or Joe Theismann, they got to find better pass blocking for him. He had a chance to have his ankle rolled up on him. I think it did get it rolled up, but obviously not as bad as it could have been. But that was, to me, just a wonderful football game. I love watching how the theater, it was the theater of it for me. The theater of Los Angeles, having a do everything now approach. Would you believe the City of Angels with the Los Angeles Lakers winning the NBA championship down in the bubble against the Miami Heat? And then the Dodgers, they got the World Series championship just 2 years ago over the Tampa Bay Rays. That was down in Texas. And then for the Rams to win the Super Bowl 56 in Los Angeles, the last 3 champions for Los Angeles, the Rams are the only ones to do it in LA, because the Dodgers had to do their thing down in Texas and the Lakers had to do their thing over in Florida. So the Rams did a lot to bring football back to Los Angeles and make it more relevant. I really think it was a relevant thing for them to do it in Inglewood, even though it's just a suburb of Los Angeles. But it was a great game. It was a great theater, a great game. And if you look at Matthew Stafford spending his 13th season, comes to Los Angeles and wins the Super Bowl on February 13th. From Detroit, played for the Lions, and had to come and play for the Rams to get a Super Bowl and to get it done. I'm just excited about NFL football. I love the way it was played last night. The theater of it all. The tickets were through the roof. I mean, you can't knock that. They are what they are. But I think about Von Miller, Matthew Stafford, each played key roles alongside their star teammates. And the Rams pulled themselves out of a Super Bowl ditch and won their first championship of the Sean McVay era. Remember, they only scored 3 points in their last Super Bowl loss to New England. That was down in the South. I believe that game was played in New Orleans. I think it was in New Orleans, or it could have been in Atlanta. Beg your pardon, it was in Atlanta. But the Bengals, supposedly their high-octane offense, not really against the Rams defense. That defense is amazing. You would think they would play the entire game that way. But there's something about Aaron Donald, the reason I would give him the MVP. And again, you can't knock Cooper Kupp. He did a great job. But Donald was double-teamed the whole game. The whole game. The Bengals didn't really double-team Cooper Kupp a lot. I know they put a lot on Apple to try to cover him. But that good boy can catch anything you throw to him. Really appreciate the way he plays. And then Odell Beckham Jr., that knee injury, my goodness, he was just rolling. He was going to have 150 yards receiving in that game. But everybody has their own thoughts about how this Super Bowl went down. I just thought that Aaron Donald, he shut down Cincinnati's offense, and he did it with a speech on the sideline. And then also being double-teamed and sometimes triple-teamed. Even the announcers, Chris Collinsworth and Al Michaels, was saying that he was getting frustrated. He was not getting frustrated. He was just bringing the pain. He kept bringing the heat. And what he did was he wore down the offensive lineman of the Cincinnati Bengals. And that helped him and his good old boys get after touchdown Joe Burrow. So that, as Von Miller said, not so fast, my friend, the great Lee Corso. But that was just a great game. Super Bowl 56. It lived up to its billing. Maybe not as high scoring as I would have thought. You think a high scoring team like the Rams are going to get more? I would have thought they would get 30 points. But 23 was all they needed to win. Matthew Stafford did have his 2 interceptions. And one was a bad one in the end zone thrown to Jefferson. I thought Jefferson should have become the defensive back in that one. But you can't knock everybody. The second one was a tipped by the tight end, had it tipped out of his hands. So that's not too bad. But I just like the way the NFL showcased the crowning of the number one sport. In my opinion, NFL football is the best sport in the history of the universe. Some people say no, it's soccer. No, it's baseball. No, it's basketball. It's NFL football. And it was a bright shining light last night in beautiful Southern California. And more we'll see more what we call touchdown Rams. That was a big win. I think that was the first title the Rams have won since 1951, before the NFL began. And that's the big old, the Deacon Jones and them good old boys. But that, and another thing about that stadium, SoFi Stadium, I've always loved the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Big cavernous stadium. They've done $350 million in renovation on the Coliseum when the Rams came back from St. Louis. And it's a great looking place for football. I still think they could do more with one of the end zones to fill it in more. If Hollywood can build up stadium and build stages and studios, fill in the end of the Coliseum, just make it more press boxes and not that big cavernous thing where they have some Hall of Fame jerseys back there. That's just my opinion. That stadium last night was so beautiful, it makes it feel like it's too pretty to even eat off of because some guy's food fell on the ground. You ever see a guy drop a pizza and picks it up and eats it anyway? Well, SoFi Stadium was so clean you could do that. But they put a lot of money into it. It was just amazing. Love seeing how NFL football left this one shiny moment for Los Angeles. Now, you think about the Rams also. This team is young. The 49ers are going to be good next year. Who knows what's going to happen with their quarterback? But they will be good. They're going to be, whether it's Trey Lance or Jimmy Garoppolo. Some people feel it might be Tom Brady coming in for one more season. He grew up in San Mateo, just in the the backyard of Levi Stadium. But the Rams look good for next year. Arizona, who knows what's happening with Kyler Murray and how he and the organization having some at-odds moments right now. But they could be good, but I don't think they're going to host the Super Bowl. I don't see it. Seattle, they're in a rebuilding mode, but San Francisco and the Rams are good. You got to also, I think that Tampa's going to rebuild, but not going to be the same. Green Bay, depending on Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers may really say, hey, thank you, Green Bay, but I'm going to Denver. Denver's defense is legit. If he goes to Denver, I think you'll see him competing against touchdown Patrick Mahomes in the AFC West. But you also have Josh Allen with the Buffalo Bills. They're going to be good. The Baltimore Ravens are going to be good. You think Cincinnati's going to come back? Something's called a Super Bowl hangover. I don't know if they'll be back next year, but the Tennessee Titans will be back also. Aaron Rodgers' best chance of getting to the Super Bowl is to give it that one shining moment, one more moment with Green Bay, but he may just be out of there. But when you think about it, the Rams in Super Bowl 56 in their own backyard, and they have the Vince Lombardi trophy at the beautiful SoFi Stadium. They're a team that will be easy to get some veterans to come there and maybe defray some of their salary. They don't have a lot of draft picks coming up. They traded the whole farm, or the farm. They bet the farm on getting what they got last night, and they got it done. But when you see how NBC Sports, they showcased how beautiful Los Angeles is, I know it's an expensive city. It's a city for the stars. They all come out at the big events. But what player wouldn't want to go to L.A. and play as opposed to going to other markets in the United States? If you choose New York or Los Angeles, hands down, you go to Los Angeles because people keep winning. Ironically, Mater Dei High School won the high school national championship, high school football national championship. And then the Los Angeles Rams win the NFL championship. And not that this matters, but college football is coming back to Los Angeles with the USC Trojans. And even this year, they will compete for a Pac-12 championship because of the recruiting class. Just the way things go in LA. People love winners. But I'm telling you, there's something about that city of Los Angeles. It's not the city of brotherly love. It's the city of angels. Unless you park in a place and you park where it says 1 hour parking and you park longer than that. That's why I like parking with media. It's a city of angels, but you got to drive a lot. That's the only bad thing about LA. They tore out the subway system back in the 1920s and they built highways so that people would buy more cars. But when you think about that team and how much pressure they had to get it done last night and how good they're going to be next year, it's about winning there. It's hard to repeat, but they're going to be in the mix. It's all fair and love and war, and Los Angeles has a championship type of team, and the spotlight's on LA. It shines brighter in Los Angeles. It's too early to talk about who's going to win next year, and it's hard to repeat, but I'm looking up north at the Bang Bang Niner game at Levi Stadium in San Francisco. That's a quick flight down to Arizona, and the Niners are loaded. And they kept D'Amico Ryan as the offensive coordinator. If they move on from Jimmy G, or even if they don't, I think they built something that can really make a lot of noise in the NFC West next year. Who knows what's going to happen? It's all fair and love and war. But I do like what the Rams have done. They put together a championship season and a winning formula, and I'm going to give them some praise. Give them all praise, praise, praise. The 2022 NFL champion Los Angeles Rams. We're going to take what's called the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. When I come back, going to run down a little bit about basketball. We'll be back in just a moment. All right, we're back for the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 23 podcast applications all over the universe. It's streaming on 4 TV applications as well, all fair and level. What a great game. Love Super Bowl 56 in beautiful Los Angeles, California. So the Rams got a championship, a world championship in Inglewood, and the Showtime Lakers, I believe, won 5 times in that arena in Inglewood. So that's some good dirt. There's good dirt in them there hills. Good dirt in them there hills. Tonight on Valentine's Day, it's the February 14th NBA. It's a decent schedule, but everybody's still having a buzz from the Super Bowl championship yesterday, won by the Los Angeles Rams 23-20 over the Cincinnati Bengals. Detroit is at Washington, Sacramento Kings at Brooklyn, and the Oklahoma City. I got to make sure my producers not hungover for last night. The Oklahoma City Thunder. Got to make sure we get the Thunder in there. The Oklahoma City Thunder at the New York Knickerbockers. San Antonio Spurs at the Chicago Bulls. That game's on NBA TV. The Portland Trailblazers, what are they going to do in Portland? They're at the defending NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks. The Raptors, they are at New Orleans. The Pelicans, who would win that fight between a Pelican and a Raptor? My money's on a Raptor, real life and on the hardwood. The Orlando Magic and the Mile High City called the Denver Nuggets. And you have the Houston Rockets up near the Wasatch Mountains taking on the Utah Jazz in Salt Lake City. And you have another California fair, what we call California Love. You have the Golden State Warriors taking on the Los Angeles Clippers down at the Crypto.com Arena. That game tips off at 7:30 p.m. tonight on NBA TV. All's fair in love and war. When you think about some of the things going on in the world of NBA basketball, I know we just had a lot of trades. We had players that have moved on to different teams. I'm going to talk more about that on tomorrow's show, because tonight was all about the NFL. It's a shame that the NFL is already over. And didn't we just start? I know the talk about having, 17 games, regular season. And some people said, oh, that's too much. We don't need 17 games. That's too much on the players. But I don't think any player complained about having 17 regular season games last night. It only affects the team that wins the Super, or the two teams that play in the Super Bowl. Because for the other players, it's just as if they reached the Super Bowl and having their regular 16-game regular season and then the playoff games. But when you think about it, it was a great time out. When you look at the NBA, the buyout market tends to be unpredictable. Some veterans and their big contracts are going to have to be eaten up. Maybe they can go to that mattress guy and he has an extra $9 million in his mattress. I'm sure the IRS would want to hear about that. But there's a lot of big-time names, whether it's James Harden and Simmons. I think they both found a better home. I still don't know why Harden would want to leave Brooklyn outside of not being able to get along. But you may find someone in Philadelphia you don't get along with. And then you also have Dennis Schroeder. He turned down $84 million contract last season. How many buyout players are there removed from being offered $84 million? That's a lot of money for a guy who's not an NBA all-star player. Everybody has their own thoughts. It's a lot going on in the NBA. I even think about all the players that make up the Golden State Warriors and how Klay Thompson's back now. Now Steph Curry has his Splash Brother back. All's fair in love and war. The Warriors, they had a last-second win over the Los Angeles Lakers when LeBron James missed a three. He missed a free throw and then missed a three-pointer that could have won the game. But it was a game where it's California love. And we'll see some of that tonight down at Crypto.com Arena, home of the Los Angeles Lakers and the Los Angeles Clippers. But Golden State should get that win tonight. We'll see. And then when you look at what's going on with the Miami Heat, they have a good team. The Miami Heat are just as good as Brooklyn, and they're just as good as Philadelphia. Maybe as good, maybe a stretch to say they're as good as Milwaukee, but you got to have a healthy Kevin Durant for Brooklyn to be the number one seed again. Philadelphia, the great Joel Embiid, they should be solid, but Harden and Embiid, they've never been, well, let me not say never. The finals, Harden went there when he played with OKC, but he had Durant as a teammate and also Russell Westbrook, but he has Embiid now. Embiid doesn't have finals experience, even though he's a dominant player playing NBA level. I would think maybe MVP caliber for a big man basketball. I would say that. He's playing well, but I still don't see how Harden feels he has a better chance to go to Philadelphia and win an NBA Finals. But they may just get there. They're due. They're due. You can only play just like Stafford. You get with the right team and the chemistry's there, and you find a way to win. And maybe that's what's going to happen there. I also think about Russell Westbrook on the West Coast with the LA Lakers. Russell Westbrook doesn't have to be a scorer for this team. He can assume the role of a Ben Simmons. You don't have to be the guy that's jacking 20 points a game. Just get your assists. Get your points. If you're going to the basket, you don't have to shoot it. You can pitch it out, dish it out to James and also Davis. That's what he can do. Doesn't have to be the guy that makes his name in the papers like he was doing when he was with the OKC Thunder. But the Lakers, they're going to make some noise, especially with the Rams winning. It's all about fair and love and war. Congratulations to the Rams. Back in the day, there's a man by the name of Drew Burdini down. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, you sting like a bee, rumble, young man, rumble, but all you've got to use how to move. And Ali would say, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat because all these big cheeseburgers make me light on my feet. I don't know if he said that at all, but he always liked to rumble, young man, rumble. My beautiful mother always says there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. If you know any man, woman, or child going through that garbage, pick up the phone and ask for help, because no man, woman, or child to ever have to go to that garbage on their own. As we always tell you on every Big C Sports Show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super happy Valentine's Day!